Hello, this is Jana Stanfield, and I'm supposed to be a guest today on the first ever version of the Tuesday Muse. I want you to meet Hilary Dunning, the Tuesday Muse. Now, are you going to go by Hilary Dunning or your maiden name also?
Wow, you know, that's always a good question and a quandary for me. So I think we're going to go with Hilary Michels Dunning.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of all of them.
Okay, Hilary Michels Dunning.
I'll just be Hilary Michels Dunning.
Okay, so
I don't know.
my first guest today on the Tuesday Muse is Hilary Michels Dunning, the Tuesday Muse. And she had me to be her guest, but you know, this is the first iteration of this. This is the first version of it. You might wonder, what is the Tuesday Muse about? And why would I want to tune in to the Tuesday Muse? Why would I want to click on this when it comes in my email box? Why will I watch it? So how is it that you want to be helpful with the Tuesday Muse to anyone who watches it?
You know, I am always kind of noodling about how can I stay creative? How can I stay engaged? How can I keep my creative juices flowing when I have all this other stuff going on? Yet I want to continue to grow as an artist, and I'm also really interested in wellness, and I think that creativity breeds wellness. Mm-hmm. Don't you? I mean, I feel better when I'm being creative. I feel more alive. And
yes,
yeah.
Creativity is very therapeutic. Now the thing is, some of us have this idea that we're either creative or we're not, we're either being creative or we're not, and we feel bad if we're not being creative, if we're not writing a song, if we're not writing a poem, if we're not painting something, if we're not doing something creative, and forgetting that creativity is the way you put together every day, the way we roll with every day. And my hope is that the Tuesday Muse will bring us comfort and remind us stuff like that. Because what I've seen about Hilary is, you know, while she's thinking, oh, I'm not being creative, I'm not being creative. This weekend, you know, what happened this weekend was she invited me to come, and I said, well, you know, I'm on my way to Bali, I could stop by San Diego on the way, I'm going to fly out of California anyway, I wonder if I could sing at a church while I'm there. And Hilary's creative juices just went into action, and just sort of say how that fired off quickly to create something. We forget that this is creativity too. When you're creating an event or a series of events that happen, that line up, that bring people together who are creative. So just say a little about that.
Well, what was real interesting is the idea of setting an intention, I think, and sort of visualizing and then therefore manifesting something in your life. And that's truly the experience that occurred. Was it started from an idea of visualizing you in my home, and then sort of paying attention to what was going on in your world, and then noticing that there was a concert that you did in a home, and would that be possible to bring into my home? Well, I don't know, that seemed like a gigantic fantasy, but I kind of kept noodling on it, and I decided, well, don't just hide in the corner. Why don't you reach out and check in and invite and welcome her into your space, and what would that even be something that you would consider? And then it kind of kept going, and then we started having a conversation about, well, what if we incorporated a songwriting workshop? What if we incorporated a guitar lesson? You know, would people find that of value?
Yeah, and what we did is we stayed in yes, and I think that's the thing we want to emphasize most. If you get nothing else out of this first Tuesday Muse, it's the idea of staying in yes. Mm-hmm. Because when Hilary asked, you know, could you come to San Diego? I was, you know, there's the just staying in yes. Well, okay, let's just stay in yes. Let's consider that. Let's brainstorm it. And we kept that so simple, and we did it in a very feminine, organic way.
Yes, it was very supportive, and what would happen if?
Yeah, and so I just set an intention, and I gave Hilary my intention. I just set an intention. if I could make this, if I could go home with this amount of money from doing that, that would be really awesome. I'd be in a big yes if we could create that kind of money. And that doesn't make it the other person's responsibility. Basically, it's trusting abundance.
Trusting abundance and trusting the process. And I had just enough experience in this kind of outreach category in all my years of doing business development and marketing and branding and all that kind of things and also knowing how many people I can reach out to here in my hometown from being here for so long to create the right audience, the right people to be here in the space of the performance and in the space of the workshop and the guitar lesson, the people who needed it. And that was so easy to find those people to fill that space. And I got an overwhelming response when I introduced all of my community to this incredible musician and humanitarian. And
yeah, and I think we probably doubled what my original intention was.
Absolutely.
And I got donations for the orphanage also.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
So just wonderful things happen when we just stayed in yes. We set an intention, an inspired intention, but we use those three principles of intention, attention, no tension.
No tension. And what was really neat in the songwriting workshop was the exercise of staying in yes, especially for me. I've written a lot of songs and I've noodled and taken all this time to write these songs and stuff, and then I did some songwriting, some co-songwriting. And when I first started doing a little bit of the co-songwriting, even with you, we'd throw out stuff, and because I hadn't had this sort of workshop experience yet of really staying in yes. And at first I was like, yeah, I like that, I don't like that so much. And then what I got to learn was, what if we gave each other some free ideas, and what if we just said yes to everything? And you could take what you want and leave the rest, which is one of my favorite things. Is, you know, out of life, you can take what you want and leave the rest, but you can say yes to everything and then take a look at it, and then what doesn't work, you don't have to incorporate or keep or do. It falls away. Exactly.
It falls away when you start choosing the best yeses.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the three things that we're getting out of this is, one, stay in yes. Then you get to choose the best yeses.
Yes.
And when you choose the best yeses, the other things fall away. There doesn't need to be a big no, not that, no, not that. The other things fall away. When you stay in yes, choose the best yeses. And what was the thing you said? Keep the best and leave the rest?
Take what you want and leave the rest. I think. Was
that
what I said?
I think. What if we said it, take the best yes.
Take the best yes and leave the rest. Take the best yes and leave the rest.
Yeah, choose the best yes and leave the rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's all new. That's
cool.
That's
good.
Take the best yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think in closing, kind of what has been brewing in me is this idea of how I want to engage in community, create community, and I want us all to create more and to do more and to live more.
Create more, do more, live more.
So that's it. That's our first installment. I'm the Tuesday Muse, and I'm sitting here with my special guest and wonderful friend, Jana Stanfield. And thank you so much for being with us.